So 70mai has released a new dash camera called as the 70mai M310, a newest entry into the budget segment of less than 5000 rupees. The good thing about this dash camera is that this gets not just a full HD resolution which you usually get in the budget segment, but this gets a 2K resolution, that's 2304 into 1296p resolution. This camera also gets the latest USB Type-C connector, wherein the older M200 and the M300 models got the micro USB connector. This dashcam also gets voice control, so you basically have about 5 to 6 voice commands which you can use to directly control the dashcam without even lifting your finger. This dashcam also supports parking mode via Hardwire Kit, so you'll have collision detection and time-lapse monitoring right out of the box within this dashcam. Of course, you have to purchase the Hardwire Kit separately for this. This dashcam also supports about 256 GB memory card. So that's a lot of storage and you get hours and hours of worth of footage without the loop recording having to take effect. So do all of these features make the 70mai M310 a worthy purchase, and considering the Amazon sale going on right now with the additional discount, should you buy the 70mai M310? Well, let's move on and take a look. Alright, so here's the newly released 70mai M310 entry level dashcam. On the box you see certain features such as 1296p resolution, it supports parking surveillance, it supports voice control, and also has 70mai app support. Same things mentioned on the other side as well. Nothing important on the back of the box, so let's just move on and take a closer look at this dash camera. So as soon as you do open up the pack, you do get two electrostatic stickers, one for primary mounting and one for spare additional mount. Then following that you have user guide, which is important in giving you all the detailed instructions and all the technical specifications of this dash cam. And here's the 70mai M310. This product feels and looks premium. Now this doesn't feel like an entry level dash cam, kind of feels more like a mid-range dash cam based on the design. But talking in terms of the design, here are two other dash cameras which I just wanted to show you along with this camera. So just to make sure which one is which, yes. So on top here is the recently released 70mai M200. This one is the older 70mai M300. And here is the 70mai M310. I mean, you probably won't see this comparison in any other YouTube video. But as you can see, 70mai has kind of changed the design a bit. But what happens in terms of M200 and M300, they both were like practically the similar design, just a difference in terms of the ventilation holes provided, but more or less it was a pretty much 90 to 95% same design of the dash camera. But in terms of the M310, although the size might look similar, the design has been overhauled. And as you can see, there is no dotted hole appearance here. You do get the same ring LED as you get in the previous models. At the back you get the speaker right here in the new M310, and the major difference comes for the fact that the M310 now gets the latest Type-C port, whereas the older M200 and M300 got the older micro USB port. There is no reset slot here, wherein you did find a reset slot in the M200 and the M300. Even in terms of the lens module, as you can see, the design has been changed quite a bit. But in terms of the windshield mount, it remains pretty much the same. You get the same screw joint with the additional windshield mount. And of course, just as the previous cameras, once you attach this to the windshield, you can rotate the camera up and down by a bit so that you can adjust the proper camera angle. You do get a very subtle 70mai branding right at front. You also get this USB power cable with a Type A port at one end and a Type C port at the other end. You also get a car charger, but it does get only one single USB port. Now those who are used to having multiple devices in the car, this charger might not be much useful. Following that, you do get a wiring tool to help you in the installation of the power cable in the car. And lastly, you do get an extra 3M sticker just in case you damage or you want to replace the camera's position. So the dashcam with a very premium feel, with a premium look, coming under the entry level segment, the 70mai M310. Let's take a look at its video quality and see if it's worth the money. So starting with the overall video quality review, now this is during daytime, and as you can see, this was shot during heavily overcast conditions, which means there was no bright sunlight and it was kind of a dim environment outside. But the camera is still able to bring out the details and the video footage looks quite neat and clean. There's no noise, contrast levels do look good, sharpness levels look good, the brightness and the saturation levels do look natural and decent. I mean, the overall video quality is pretty much satisfactory and good enough for the kind of money you're paying for it, considering this camera comes around the price of about 4,000 rupees. So in bright sunlight conditions, the video quality might even be better, considering the fact that under this dim light, the video footage is pretty decent and I personally really like it. Now, most cameras under the budget segment, the 5,000 to 4,000 price bracket, are really getting very good, and it's very good for the customers. They're getting a good quality and they're getting a good value for money at that price point. Moving on to the nighttime video quality, again a similar thing. Overall video quality looks pretty decent. The contrast levels do seem a tad bit higher. The brightness and the sharpness levels do look natural and don't seem very over exaggerated. Even in terms of the glare of the street lights and the headlights, it's not as much as expected. Usually other budget cameras kind of give out a high glare from the street lights and the headlights, but this camera is doing a pretty good job at it. The overall video quality at night is also satisfactory and more than enough for any kind of evidence you might want to extract from the dash camera. It's going to help you in recording all the events happening right in front of the car, and the video quality is kind of even usable in terms of vlog situations. So the overall video quality in both day and nighttime is satisfactory, is more than enough and complete value for money, coming around the price of 4,000 rupees. Moving on to the time-lapse monitoring. So this is a parking mode time-lapse monitoring during nighttime. So if you do install the Hardwire Kit, you can also record this kind of a time-lapse monitoring. And of course, this is during daytime, and this was shot again in overcast conditions, as you can see. But the overall time-lapse footage does give out a lesser file size of 17 MB and a similar bitrate of about 12,000 kbps. Moving on to the number plate readability. Now the Suzuki Glanza in front is about a distance of 5 feet or 10 feet, I think. It's pretty close range, and if we do zoom in to take a look at the number plate, a crystal clear read. I mean, specifically you can see in this image quality there's literally no noise. The image looks very smooth, and this indicates the kind of processing the image processing 70mai applies within its camera to give out a proper noiseless look. Moving on to the next sample. So this is of the same car at a further higher distance. So I haven't compared to a very high distance because since this is just a 1296p camera, but nevertheless in this instance the car is about a distance of 15 to 20 feet. And if we zoom in to take a look, a pretty neat and a pretty readable number plate, mild blurring due to the zooming factor, and of course, as pointed out previously, even this image doesn't seem to offer any level of noise but seems to offer a high level of softness within the image. The overall readability of the plate at about 15 to 20 feet is still readable, not very crystal clear due to the lesser resolution, but still good enough for the 4,000 price bracket. Moving on to the nighttime number plate read. So the car in front is again at a similar distance of 15 to 20 feet, but the glare of my headlights is not directly hitting the number plate of the car. The glare is actually hitting at the rear bumper. So in certain situations, in such situations, you will be able to get a good read of the number plate as you are seeing right now. Each letter and number is pretty much clearly visible, and you'll be able to make out the entire number plate. But in situations where the number plate is under the direct glare of your headlights, since this camera doesn't get a star with 2 sensor, you will get kind of a whitewashed look. But I wanted to show you something really special about this camera. Now in this instance, the car in front is about a distance of again 10 to 15 feet away, but actually facing towards me and coming towards my car. Now most budget cameras do tend to miss out on number plate read in such situations because they'll be completely covered in the glare of the opposing headlights. If you zoom in to take a look, it actually shows you some level of detail in the number plate read. I mean, it's not as crystal clear as you'd expect in a 4K camera, but a budget camera under 4,000 camera being able to read the number plate of vehicles which are coming towards it, that's a really cool thing, and I definitely like this. So to connect the camera to the 70mai app, install the app within your smartphone and open the Wi-Fi settings. Search for the Wi-Fi network which says 70mai M310 and then enter the password, the number digits being 1 to 8. As soon as you enter the password, the dashcam will connect to the smartphone, and once it gets connected, head back to the app. It will give you a small loading screen, and following that you will need to authorize the connection by clicking on the power button on the device. And as soon as you click the power button, the connection gets authorized and you will get a live view on your smartphone screen. So once the connection is established, just tilt the camera front and back to adjust the proper angle, the desired angle which you want the camera to record in front of the car. Alright, so let's quickly go through the in-app settings for the 70mai M310. So as soon as you open up the settings tab, the first option which you get is the video encoding format. you can select either high compression or the low compression. The low compression is more compatible with older phones and the high compression is compatible with the major recent phones. Following that, you have the next option, which is the video resolution. If you click on that, you get two options, 2304 into 1296 at 30 frames per second and a standard 1920 into 1080 Full HD at 30 frames per second. Then you have the video clip duration either of 1 minute, 2 minutes and a maximum of 3 minutes. Then you can enable or disable the 70mai logo. You also have anti-flicker option. You can set it at 60 Hz, 55 Hz and 50 Hz. Following that, you have the parking security. Now you get these options if you have installed the dashcam with the Hardwire Kit. You can select the duration of parking monitoring from a minimum of 2 hours up to 24 hours, and even you can select unlimited duration for the parking monitoring. Then you have the collision detection option, where you can set the sensitivity of the collision detector, or basically the G sensor. It says the recording is triggered if the car gets bumped while parking. You can enable or disable the collision detection. You can set the sensitivity to high, medium and low. And of course, there is also an option to start after flame out, which means postpone for 5 minutes followed by response. So this means to avoid triggering parking surveillance recording due to slamming the car door, collision incident will be responded to with 5 minutes postponed, or you can set it to respond instantly. Following that, you have the smart travel option, wherein you can set emergency video to be recorded in case any abnormal vibrations are detected. You can set the sensitivity to low, medium and high as well. Following that, you have the voice control option, which can enable or disable, and these are the voice control options or voice control commands which you can use to control this particular dash camera. Then you have the sound settings, where you can set the speaker volume to high, medium or low, or completely turn it off. Then you have the power on and off prompt tone. I recommend you keep this because you'll be able to identify if the camera is working or not. Then you have the record audio option, basically the mic option, you can set it on and off. Then you have the system settings, wherein you have the broadcast language. I have currently set it at English. Then you have the auto off after stop. So this is an important option for those cars who have an always on 12-volt socket, such as Volkswagen and Skoda cars. So you can set the camera to turn off after 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 20 minutes, or you can set it to don't turn off at all. So 5 minutes would be ideal for those cars who have an always on 12-volt cigarette lighter, because the dash cam will automatically turn off after 5 minutes of stopping the car. But do note that once you start the car again, you will need to reconnect the camera or turn it on manually so that it turns on each time. Following that, you have the Wi-Fi hotspot settings, where you can modify the hotspot password and you can set the Wi-Fi to turn on every time the dashcam starts. Then you have the dashcam system time. Then you have the date format to DDMM-YY or any other date format which you would prefer. Then you have the format memory card reminder, which basically gives you a reminder to format the memory card. Then you have the about section, which gives you the device name, dashcam firmware version and the dashcam channel version. Then you have the device data log, following which you have the reset options, wherein you have the format memory card option, which can use to format the memory card. Then you have the factory reset option to reset the camera back to the factory settings. So these are the in-app settings for the 70mai M310. So that was an exhaustive and the detailed review of the 70mai M310, and you probably won't find this anywhere else on YouTube except on Travel Tech. So if you are interested in purchasing the dashcam, the link to purchase it will be provided in the description below. Head down, click on the link and go ahead and purchase it. And the good news being the Amazon sale which is going on right now, this dashcam you will get it at a discounted price. Of course, if you will be applying any credit card discounts, the price will come down even more. So considering the less price it's currently trending at, also with the fact that it comes with the latest features, makes this a very compelling buy and also deserves your attention. So if you are looking for a budget dashcam which offers good quality video, also gets you some parking monitoring, gives you voice control, and on top of it comes at a price of less than 4,000 rupees, the 70mai M310 would just might be your perfect choice. So if you have any more doubts or queries regarding this camera, you can always write that down and try to get back to you as soon as possible. And if this video has helped you out in making the correct purchase decision, go ahead, hit that subscribe button of my channel right now and smash the like button of this video. You can also click the bell icon so that you get notified whenever I upload super awesome videos like this. For more interesting content and for some behind the scenes stuff, you can follow me on my Facebook, Insta and the WhatsApp page. The links to those are given in the description as well. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.